So we had a walk-in come in looking for custom merch, but she didn't really know exactly what she was looking for. She just knows that she needs to get a graduation shirt for her niece's upcoming graduation. So part of the process of finding out what the client wants is doing a really thorough discovery. So initially we began doing a thorough discovery by requesting if she had files. She didn't have any files ready, but she had a design direction. So this is kind of like the design direction that she was looking at, was more of a collage style. So we had requested her send over the files. However, she had most of the times walk-ins. They're not usually going to have the files formatted correctly. So these were some of the files that she had sent us to work on. And then so we had somewhat of a design direction already. And then so what I did was, once I get that input, I create a work order on our workflow system that we use called ClickUp. And then I enter in all the customer's information, obviously, and then any important details from the notes. And then so we have a line item for all the pictures that she wants incorporated, and then the style that she wants for the how she wants the images placed, and any important details, like for example, any important text, what kind of font she wants to use, if she has a reference. So she had actually sent us over this font reference, and in some important details for her project that she wanted us to highlight that this is going to be a special project for a senior for 2026, graduating class from Lake Mineola High. The student's nickname, her family nickname is Livy, and then a special note, which was my Olivia with a heart. And then so the more you ask about the project, the better and easier it makes it for you. And then so outside of the project design details, because I'm not a designer, I'm collecting all this information for our designer, my job is just to make sure everything flows correctly. So part of the process, part of our intake process is I make sure to get her a reference for the blanks that we use. So since we use Bella Canva, I make sure to get the product sheet for Bella Canva, and I lay out exactly all the colors we have available, so that the customer can choose whatever color preference that they want. And then on the back end, I know if I need to get it shipped or if I can pick it up locally. And then for local, we usually just use Alpha Broder, which is now SS Activewear. So if you see some of the notes here, when the customer is here with us, especially a walk-in, I'll take the notes and I'll input it directly into a text message. I'll create a text message group chat right away. So it makes sure that we're both on the same page. I'm on the same page and the client's also on the same page. So this lays out everything that I've already put into our ClickUp, which handles our work order. So this lays out all the important project details. And then, for example, she committed to black shirts. Initially, she came in for just one large black shirt. And then so she had messaged back that she spoke to some relatives, I assume. And then now that one shirt has turned into 5 shirts. She sent me this reference for a font, and she wanted to go with the Ballantine font. So we got that narrowed down. And then so what I do is to make sure that it's easy for my designer. So because it's kind of difficult to try to communicate what somebody's thinking. Very, very difficult. So what I do is I incorporate ChatGPT to help me create a reference. And so I went online and I pulled up a bunch of the reference points that was important to Courtney. And so, for example, Lake Mineola High, I'm able to find the school colors. That's important to what she wants on her project. And then so I'm prompting ChatGPT, for example, Livy. That's an important part of their project because that's who the graduate is. And then I incorporated just some reference images based on what she wanted and in the design direction. And I prompt ChatGPT to continue storing this information until I'm ready. And then I plug in the type of font that the client's looking for, and I lock that in. Again, I'm giving all this information to ChatGPT before ChatGPT starts anything. And then so I also am telling ChatGPT what type of brand I'm using for the shirt, as well as what color t-shirt, because after that I'm going to need to get a mock-up for reference as well. And so we got all this information here. And then you see here, I'm summarizing everything that I've already told ChatGPT to incorporate into this design project. And then want to make sure that we're aligned before I prompt it to go ahead and start. And so I ask it, let me know if we're aligned or if you have any questions so I can clarify anything if ChatGPT needs me to clarify anything. As you can see here, it's asking a bunch of questions. Okay, and it asked me, does it want elegant style, sporty, trendy, or memorial tribute style? So I told it, let's do one of each. So this was the first design that it came up with. This was the second design that it came up with. The third design. The fourth design. So it came up with all those 4 designs. So after it came up with the 4 designs, I prompted it to create a grid style. So what I did was, going back to my text message with Courtney, after we received the order, I did all this. So going back to my text message with Courtney, I sent her a reference for all the designs that ChatGPT created, and I did communicate to her that these are only going to be AI references because the final product is going to have variations outside of the AI image. Usually, for the most part, AI doesn't really get sometimes the text accurately or the facial structure for the subject that you're using. And then, so as you can see, I communicated the design to her. And then what I did was I had ChatGPT create a grid reference for all the designs on a shirt so she can physically see what it may look like for a reference on the shirt. And then so, as you can see, she chose number 4, and I reminded her again, these are just AI references. This isn't the final product. And then so that's pretty much it. This is halfway, at least like now. The designer has a reference point to start with. She knows going into the project that, okay, I need to make it look similar to design 4. Design 4 is the structure that the client had chose, so our designer knows to go with this structure. If you like this content, make sure to follow us on YouTube at iHeartCustoms or visit our website directly at iHeartCustoms.com. Thanks.